Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good day I bid to you all. Thank you for joining me today. I am Muhammad Aiman Shakib bin Azman, and today we will discussing a book I read called Basic Principles of the Islamic Worldview by Sayyid Qutb. And this video here is solely for academic purposes, specifically for my class ENGL2331 Islamic Literature. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin with a quote from the book I've chosen for this presentation. A quote that captures its entire purpose. It says, "The Quran was the first source of reference for that community, and it was from it that it arose. A truly wondrous phenomenon in the history of mankind, the emergence of a people from the text of a book." This quote identifies the book's objective to find the pure conceptual basis for a functional society. My presentation today focuses on Sayyid Qutb's basic principles of the Islamic worldview. Who is this Sayyid Qutb? Sayyid Qutb was an influential Egyptian literary critic, poet, and systematic thinker whose works provided a distinctive vision for social and political order in the 20th century. His uncompromising commitment to his convictions led to his imprisonment and execution in 1966. Today is a detailed philosophical examination of the Islamic worldview, Tasawwur, and Qutb argues that this perspective is unique, comprehensive, and divinely sourced, standing distinctly apart from all fragmented human-made systems. Qutb analysis begins by framing the modern world as suffering from Jahiliyah, a state of the ignorance where humanity accepts systems not based on divine law. He critiques existing ideologies, which he calls the debris, for being incomplete. He targets the fragmentation of thought, especially the dualism that separates life into distinct spheres. For example, he critiques how Western thought often divorces political science from moral philosophy and economics from ethics. When I compared Qutb's argument with purely secular system, I found his point about conceptual incompleteness compelling. A secular system, by definition, must create laws based on changing human consensus. This makes the system unstable and potentially unjust if consensus shifts. Qutb provides a powerful counter-argument. An Islamic worldview offers an objective, stable, and ethical anchor, a set of unchanging moral constants to govern all human affairs. Look at the field of artificial intelligence per se. It is developing rapidly, largely without a stable, unified moral framework. Qutb will argue that this is a symptom of fragmented thought, where technological progress is divorced from existential purposes. The Islamic worldview, by insisting on a unified concept of purposes, will inherently subject technological development to ethical and spiritual scrutiny. The first key characteristic of the Islamic worldview is divinity, Rabbaniyah. Its source is God, making the concept inherently stable, error-free, and complete. This leads to Qutb application of Tawhid, the absolute oneness of God, to sovereignty, Hukmiyyah. And this is not an extremist call for the removal of political institutions, but a demand for conceptual consistency regarding the source of law. Qutb's core argument is that recognizing God as the sole sovereign places an ethical limit on all human power. When human begins claim the absolute right to legislate outside of the divine framework, Qutb views this as a theological inconsistency because it elevates human will to a divine status. I find this analysis provides a significant challenge to the modern concept of unrestricted majoritarian rule. Qutb is not questioning the mechanism of governance, but the source of its authority. He argues that by submitting all legislation to the divine standard, the system protects the individual from the capricious or oppressive exercise of human authority, whether that authority belongs to a king, a dictator, or a temporary majority parliament. The worldview must be comprehensive, shumul, integrating all human experience, the senses, the intellect, the spiritual life, and the physical reality. This leads to balance, Tawazun. He notes that the Islamic worldview maintains equilibrium between the spirit and the body, the individual and the community, and the world and the hereafter. It avoids the extreme of excessive materialism and crippling asceticism, neglecting the soul and neglecting the body. In contemporary life, we often discuss about the stress of work-life balance. Qutb would interpret this struggle as a symptom of the fragmented system we live in. We see our job, our family, and our faith as competing segments that need balancing. Qutb says they should be integrated, and in my opinion, this characteristic offers profound value for personal integrity today. Qutb argues that when the divine concept governs life, daily actions like ethical work or raising a family become integrated forms of worship, and this provides a single cohesive identity, countering the psychological fragmentation caused by modern dualism. The worldview is also characterized by positivism, al-Ijabiyyah, and realism, al-Waqiyyah. This means worldview is not a utopian fantasy. It provides a practical, active framework designed to operate within the constraints of real life and human nature. And it is realistic because it acknowledges the inherent strengths and weaknesses of human nature, providing practical, social, and legal structures to guide conduct constructively. It is positive because it requires believers to actively work to establish the worldview, transforming the current environment on one based on justice. To bring us back to the power of the text itself, the power to create a people purely through the conceptual framework. We return to the central theme, reinforcing the quote on page 3. The Quran was the first source of reference for that community, and it was from it that it arose, a truly wondrous phenomenon in the history of mankind, the emergence of a people from the text of a book. To conclude, Sayyid Qutb's basic principles of the Islamic worldview is a powerful systematic argument for conceptual purity and political consistency. It challenges us to verify the source of our knowledge and law, and demands a life where our choices, political, economic, and personal, are governed by a single, integrated, and objective divine concept, rejecting the instability of fragmented human debris. I think that is all from me. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you all enjoyed today's discussion, and I pray that we will meet again later in the future, inshallah. And if I go, I just want to remind, don't forget 3S, salam, smile, and salawat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.